I want to talk to you about my jazz records. Some rare British jazz records. These are all on the Tempo label. The Tempo label, I should say, was a British jazz label in the 1950s and 60s. And they made traditional and modern jazz records. Their modern jazz catalogue had 20 LPs, maybe 21, I can't remember. Maybe 7 or 8 10-inch records, and then EPs. So this is my small collection of those. This is the Modern Jazz Scene 1956. Now I've got 2 copies of this. And this would have been released 1957, presumably. Can't remember exactly. Tubby Hayes and his orchestra make up one half. The other half is the New Jazz Group and the Vic Ash Quartet. Dizzy Reece is on this, and I like Dizzy Reece. So and as it happens, that was the first of the modern jazz LPs they released. Now I'm showing you these in no particular order. So here is another. This is Tubby's Groove. This is one of the better selling ones. Great record, great lineup. Tubby Hayes, Terry Shannon, Jeff Klein, Bill Seaman. Great stuff. And again, I've got 2 of those. So now all of these records, all of these modern jazz tempo records were classics. You know, rare records, let's say valuable records, are not necessarily always good records. But in the case of Tempo, everything they did was classic. Now here is, I'll have to take this out. Here's Jazz at the Flamingo. Now this is supposed to be a live recording from the Flamingo Club, which was a jazz club in the UK in the 50s and 60s. In actual fact, it's a studio recording. They brought people into the studio and sort of recreated the Flamingo in the studio. But it's a great album. Tony Crombie, Ronnie Scott, Harry Klein, Terry Shannon, Louis Bush, Tubby Hayes. Great stuff. Now I have 2 of these also, but the second one, it has no sleeve, but it's a sample pressing. So that's that. Now bear with me. Now what's this? The Last Word. Tubby Hayes. And of course I've got 2 of these also. And again, Ronnie Scott, Tubby Hayes, Terry Shannon, Kenny Napper, Bill Seaman. There's not a lot I can say about these LPs. I mean, it's just great jazz. You know, some people make videos and come off along for ages, but it's just great jazz. Then we've got The Five of Us. Vic Ash, Harry Klein. Great album. Now, as it happens, I've got two of these. Yeah, two of these. But I also have here an American pressing. This is the American pressing, and it's called The Hooter, and it's on Riverside. And this was issued, I think this was the only tempo album that was released more or less simultaneously in the United States. And the exact same record, but the tracks are in a different order. But so if you can't afford a copy of this, if you can't afford the original because it's very, very expensive, then you can buy what is more or less a first edition. You can buy this one here, and it's a nice recording if you like early mono recordings, because most of these are mono microgroove records. And if you like that early mono sound from sort of old, reasonably good pressings and that, then you'll like this. I'd recommend this if you can't afford the original, or even if you can afford the original. I'd recommend you buy this. As I say, track listing is in a different order, but it's a nice pressing and a good record. So you might want to buy that. Now, so there we are. Then we've got what we got here. We've got the Jazz Couriers in Concert, which I think probably was the best selling of the lot of them. This would be the cheapest to buy, maybe €100. Sometimes it sells more, but around that. And I have 4 copies of this. One. Yeah. So there's 2. There's 3. I've got 4 copies, one of which has no sleeve. And yeah. So why have I got 4? Well, I like buying records, and I like handling them. And I like the whole ritual. And so there we are. Then we come to Tubby Hayes. Tubby Hayes and the Jazz Couriers. I've only got 1 copy of this. At least I think I've only one. Yeah. I've only got 1 copy of this. Again, Tubby Hayes, Ronnie Scott, Terry Shannon, etc., etc. I love just handling these records. Now, some of these are a bit worn because, well, they're quite old. How old are these now? 60, 70 years. So it's not surprising that they're worn. And back in the day when these records were released, people didn't look after their records. Virtually no one sort of looked after their records. Their record was just something you played, and nobody changed their stylus. You use the stylus until it broke down completely, and then you put a penny or a coin on top of the tone arm. But so then So the next I have, and I've got a few here now with no sleeves. Here I've got one of my favourites, and this is, don't know if you can see that. This is Tony Crombie. And it's a great record, and it features Stan Tracy. If you're a Stan Tracy fan, you'll love this. It might just as easily have been sold as a Stan Tracy record. He features that much in it, and I like Stan Tracy. And on this record, he's in his prime. In fact, without Stan Tracy, it would have been, all right, but not a great record. Stan Tracy makes this record. So, Tony Crombie Orchestra. And the name of this record, it was Jazz Incorporated. But I've never seen a copy on eBay, and I assume they do turn up, but I've been watching for a few years now. I haven't been able to get one. So, Jazz Inc. Great record. Now here's another one with no sleeves. And this is, I don't know if you can see that. Now this is Blue Boogie or Bogey, Wilton Boogie Gaynor. Now again, no sleeves, but to buy this with the sleeve, it's very expensive. Very. You're talking at least 1,000, maybe 2,000. Now actually it did have a sleeve, this one, when I bought it, but it's in such atrocious condition. You can see they're really bad condition, so effectively I bought it as a record without a sleeve. So and now we come to, what have I got here? Yeah. Now we come to, oh dear God. Now we come to, again, one of the better records in the series, in the Tempo series, is After Lights Out. This is a great record. Tubby Hayes, Dick Houghton, Harry South, etc. Now this record, and here's a cautionary tale, this record is in atrocious condition. Let's see if I can show you. You might not be able to pick this up on, but maybe you will. I don't know if you can see, you won't be able to pick this up from the camera. But this record is the worst condition record I have ever bought in my life. And as you can see, I'm an old guy. I was buying records in the 1950s, and this is the worst condition I've ever come across. Having said that, it plays, it doesn't skip, plays from beginning to end. But if you think of all of the noise, think of all of the noise you get on a really badly damaged record. Well, this has got all the noise. Thumps, bangs, like a train in the background, all of that. But a cautionary tale. I actually bought this originally for the sleeve, because the seller was very honest. They described the record as being unplayable, totally useless, but they offered it up just as a filler. So I bid on it just for the sleeve, because you can pick up these records very cheap with no sleeve on eBay from time to time. So I thought I'd get the sleeve and maybe the record will turn up cheap someday with no sleeve. So I put a bid on the record, fine. Excuse me. But at the time I was listening to my radio, and can't remember what I was listening to, but it was something I was interested in. And I went to put a €50 bid. And you know, when you place a bid, immediately you get a little pop-up from your Hotmail account to say that you've just put a bid. So I was listening to the radio, put the bid on, wasn't paying attention, and then this pop-up thing came on my laptop, and I had bid over €1,000. €1,000 and a few spare euros. So I was going to withdraw the bid, but I'm lazy and I didn't want the hassle. So I thought, nobody's going to bid on this. Okay, maybe one or two people might bid for the sleeve. Maybe they'll bid 50, 60. If I'm really unlucky, they might bid me up to £100 or €100. But I wanted the sleeve. So I thought, oh, to hell with it. And then a few days later, the auction ended and I won it. But the final bid was 380 sterling, UK pounds. So somebody bid me up or wanted it very badly. But so that's a cautionary tale. Be very, very careful when you're bidding. Pay attention. But in spite of the fact that it's awful, I really like this and I play it quite a lot. Now, when I first bought it, it sounded horrific. It was literally painful. It was very uncomfortable to listen to. It was really, really bad. But I played it over and over again and kept cleaning it and cleaning it and cleaning it. And I don't know if the record got better with all the cleaning, or if it was simply my ear that was adjusting to it. But it's still an incredibly noisy record with all sorts of noises. But I listen to it all the time and I enjoy it, and it still sounds great. So there you are, Tubby Hayes. Now, what have we got here? This is Swinging the Blues. This is a compilation. They issued two, I think, compilation albums, which they're made up from tracks from other albums, maybe one original track. And that again, it was very cheap because no sleeve, and it's very worn, but it's still fine. And I just see here, to see what this is now. Cotton. That's a test pressing. It's a one-sided test pressing from the Jazz of the Flamingo album. Now this here, which you see, I don't want to take this out. This is a 10-inch acetate of a live recording that would have gone out on BBC, one of these BBC jazz club things. And they're not actually designed to be played on your record player. You can play them. You can play them maybe, if you're very lucky, maybe 10, 12 times, but they're metal discs and they have a very thin coating of vinyl. So, but I actually played that a few times, and I will, in a few months' time, I'll record it and I'll put it up on YouTube. So, that's that. Oh, dear God. And now we've got cool music for Hot Night. Again, this is a compilation album, really. And it's quite good. It's a bit worn. bit worn on that, but I quite like records that are a bit worn. I don't like getting an old jazz record, 50, 60, 70 years old, that's mint. I like records that have been played, you know, that look as if they've been played and sound as if they've been played. There's nothing worse for me than a record that hasn't been played. So that's cool music on a hot night. And then I've got another one here, Victor Feldman in London, Volume 2. Good record. Well, all of these tempo records are good records. So that's another one. And what have I got here? Oh yes, I've got a few 10 inches here. Only a few. I've got Dizzy Reece, A New Star. And I like Dizzy Reece. I like Dizzy Reece a lot. And it's a good record. It's very good. Well, all of these are very good, but and then I've got 2 copies of Victor Feldman Quartet. So I've got 2 copies of that. And do I have anything else? Victor Feldman. There's the other copy. So that's basically it. That's more or less it. The only... So that's my tempo LPs. The only other thing is I have a few small number of EPs. Don Randall, and Damien Robinson Trio. I actually recorded this and I made a video, so if you check my other videos and you want to hear this. Also then there's another Don Randall. I also recorded this on YouTube, so if you check my channel, you can hear this. Then there's Victor Feldman Big Band. And I've got 2 of these. And then I've got Tubby Hayes and his orchestra. And also I've got Ronnie Scott Blows, which is quite collectible EP. And then I've got Tubby Hayes, and the same one but no sleeve. So basically that's it. That's my collection for what it's worth. But I like old records. I like the old pressings. And I particularly like mono, and all of these I think are mono. There might be one or 2 of the later ones that are, but I think they're all mono. And they're all micro groove records. So you might want to invest in a mono micro groove styles. So, well, that's it. My modest collection of tempo UK jazz records. I have other British jazz records, interesting records, and I will be making a video about them in a few weeks, so if you want to call back. And if you found this interesting, please subscribe, because that helps to make videos more prominent on Google search. So there you are. Thank you for watching.